Okay. Welcome back, everyone. Outside the Cinema with our weekly episode, your source for cult movie discussions. Your host, Bill and Chris. We are here despite our better judgment. Welcome back to the show, everyone. What's going on, Chris? I didn't obviously talk to you all weekend, so how was your
you were busy.
Memorial Day weekend?
You were very busy, so my weekend was fine. It was,
exciting stuff.
No, which is good.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I was in Las Vegas all weekend. I flew out there on Friday. I was supposed to film and record a podcast for the guys that do We Watch Wrestling, and then my schedule got all screwed up, and then their schedule got screwed up because the guy that was running the venue didn't plan for them to be there in any way, shape, or form. So, they didn't have a space set up for them, and, they're a pretty popular podcast. If you like wrestling, I highly recommend listening to We Watch Wrestling. It's like listening to a wrestling discussion show with, just two of your buddies. So then they ended up having to cancel the show. So then I didn't feel as bad because I screwed up my schedule and it didn't happen anyway. So I just enjoyed a weekend of AEW wrestling. I went to Rampage on Friday night at Mandalay Bay, and then they did a fan fest on Saturday at Mandalay Bay, where I took some pictures with some semi-famous wrestlers. And then they had their big pay-per-view on Sunday night, which I watched and I enjoyed immensely. And then I flew home on Monday morning and immediately into the cloud of pollen and other allergens that make my head hurt a lot.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's exciting stuff. But not as exciting stuff. Show this week. 2 full moon features. One that the trailer, clips from the trailer, was featured in Survival of the Film Freaks, Dollman from 1991.
Yeah.
I'd never seen it, and it was one that after watching the trailer, making the doc, I was like, at some point I want to visit this because the trailer's hilarious. The film, on the other hand, is another story. But
so these aren't Patreon picks. I can blame you.
No,
if I don't like them.
You can blame me. I didn't get a chance to dig through the emails for the Patreon one, and plus, since I wasn't going to be here this weekend, it was just easier to take 2 from the list of stuff.
Oh yeah.
And then
I just want to know whether to blame the listener or you. That's all.
No, you can blame me. The other one is another full moon feature from 1992 called Bad Channels. It's a sci-fi alien, very small alien invasion flick. I was watching when I put it on. And the credit comes up that's based on an idea from Charles Band. And I'm like, all right, that's just him making sure he gets his paycheck. Not even story by Charles Band or written by or screenplay or nope. Not based on a story based on an idea from Charles Band.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's a word I would use, just maybe not in the context that you think.
It is definitely, because did you hear all the excitement behind it? I said, fantastic.
It would have been only more telling if you did one of these. Fucking fantastic.
The show has just started, all right? I can't give it all up at once.
That's fair. So, yeah, that's what we're doing this week. Both of those are available to watch on Tubi and other places. I feel like a lot of the Full Moon stuff's in a number of places. I'm not, but we watched it on Tubi, so. Not a whole lot of other stuff going on. I mean, things have been quiet for us recently, which is good, I guess.
Yeah.
It's good, I guess. So, if you wanted to join the Patreon, though, patreon.com/outsidethecinema, you get to choose some movies to be reviewed on the show. We've got some lined up for the next couple weeks. You get to get the shows early. Normally, we're recording later this week. Normally, the shows are recorded on Monday, and we release it directly to the Patreon on Monday. You have to wait to Thursday otherwise. I'm working on scheduling some bonus content and some bonus stuff to also get onto that feed because we haven't done any in a while. My schedule has just been insane between editing the new documentary and then I have a music video gig that I just picked up, and then another short film, and then we're releasing The Woodsman is premiering in June. So it's just the schedule has been crazy. So the bonus content, I'm sorry, I do apologize, it has not been there, but once we can get some done, we'll get some music shows, we'll get maybe some list shows or something. We'll figure it out. But yeah, it's a $5 monthly donation, $10 if you want to join the ultimate tier, where basically you can dictate anything you want to happen on the show. If you want to co-host. If you want to co-host, you also just understand that you may have to work within our schedule. We can't. Chris's work schedule is very different than my work schedule, so we are fairly limited in the time. But if you want to come on the show with us, you're absolutely welcome. Program the show, give us segments, whatever you want to do if you're in that $10 tier. And I think a lot of you guys that are in that $10 tier don't take advantage of that, which is cool because I guess that makes my life a lot easier. But know that it's there. If you want to get involved and you want to dictate some stuff, by all means. Patreon.com/outsidethecinema. Plus, you get access to the show archive. That's where all the old stuff is. So you can get all of that. So, Chris, anything that you want to share before we get into the main show? Did you watch the Obi-Wan series yet, or new Stranger Things or anything?
We watched first 2 Obi-Wan episodes. And the droid that I thought was Forlom is just a droid that looks like Forlom, so that's fine. That's fine considering what happens.
Similar model number, I'm assuming?
I don't know its name, but it looks a lot very, very, very similar. But that makes sense that there's more than one. We had IG-11, not 88. So whatever, that's fine. I'm liking it. I am, of course, one of the people that is like, all right, Star Wars is like pizza. There's good pizza and bad pizza, but you're still eating pizza.
Nice. Yeah.
Right? So
all right.
I did not like the show that should have been written directly for me, but I will watch the Book of Boba Fett, skip over the mods because I just didn't like that part. Nope.
I didn't watch any of the Book of Boba Fett.
Robert Rodriguez's eye for special effects I don't think fits Star Wars as well as other people's. Let's just say.
Okay.
But it was fine. It was fine. I was more distracted by Tamora Morrison's veneers than anything else because it did affect the way he speaks.
Okay.
Like if you watch Elvira talk now as opposed to in the just 10, 20 years ago, I think she's had veneers done because it definitely kind of affects the way people talk.
Okay. All right. I wouldn't even have thought of that.
So that was distracting for me to watch in Book of Boba Fett. But Jesus Christ, it's you're paying for Disney less than $10 a month, right? I forget what Disney is. You sign up and forget. I might have it
I don't know. I have
free
that
through my
play.
phone. Yeah.
Yeah, I got the triple play. That's the 3 of them. Hey, what's Andor?
Cassian Andor was the dude in Rogue One, played by
Oscar. No, that's Poe.
I forget his name. He's the one with the robot with K2SO. But K2SO isn't with him in the first season. He will be, I guess, in the second.
Okay.
I was not interested in that at all. Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah. I was not interested in that at all. Then I saw the trailer and I'm like, yeah, okay, that looks good. You know what? So I'll watch whatever, whether it's good or bad. Now we got about 45 minutes into the first episode of Stranger Things, and then we realized, oh, you have school tomorrow, so.
I haven't watched much recently, so.
Stranger Things just kind of feels like to us, it's like, okay, well, we got to finish it.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna watch that too. The only things I've watched since we did the show last week was I watched 2 documentaries. One on HBO Max called Fake Famous, which was about them. Did you watch this by any chance?
No, I haven't heard of it.
It's basically a documentary where they handpick these people that have small Instagram followers and audiences and attempt to turn them into influencers.
Okay.
And it's pretty interesting the way it works out because they have 3 different people. They have like one young girl that's an actress, a gay male who is like trying to work into the world of the gay subculture and become an icon. And then one African American dude who's just kind of like, I don't fucking care about anything. So it's pretty interesting, and the way that it works, the 3 of them, and they get 3 different results with them based on the reactions of the people themselves, not necessarily so much what the public perceives. It's actually it's worth definitely worth watching. And then I also watched a new documentary that was on Netflix, which is I believe it's a Korean documentary, because the version that I watched was dubbed and subtitled, called Cyber Hell: Exposing an Internet Horror, about these guys that basically use like Reddit threads and chat rooms and these like illegal sites where they dupe girls into basically having to like take all kinds of like compromising pictures and like all this stuff where they just basically torture these people via the internet. It was frightening. It was frightening.
So whose point of view is that told from?
The victims.
Okay, so there's no interaction with the abusers then.
No, they're featured in it in terms of like when we find out who they are and like what happens to them, and it's more really about the media side of it in terms of like a TV station featuring the story, and then basically you guys go after the people that were the reporters from the TV station, the reporters from the newspaper and stuff, and try to like be like, don't cover this because some bad stuff's going to happen to you. And so then it's like they with the police and how the police ended up tracking down. It was actually quite good if you can handle reading subtitles or watching a dubbed documentary, which I sometimes have a hard time watching a subtitled or dubbed documentary. I don't really have an issue with watching subtitles or anything in feature films, but documentaries sometimes I have a harder time with it.
There's a lot of information sometimes that they got to throw at you.
You're getting a lot of stuff thrown at you in a quick manner, and sometimes it's just tough to keep up with it. But it's quite good. It's technically a Netflix film, but I'm pretty sure that it was made in Korea and then they imported it over here. But it's worth checking out. So
good.
So yeah, but our films that were featured this week, obviously, Full Moon features. I didn't intend on actually picking 2 Full Moon flicks. It just kind of happened that way. Which one do you want to do first?
We should do them in order.
Okay, Dollman.
Did you watch the other one all the way to the end?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, let's fucking do it in universe order.
the Full Moon universe is in full display here. Let me get the trailer for Dollman.
It's more integrated than Warner Brothers DC stuff.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Considering they actually at least like paid attention to it.
Yeah.
Because I forgot that Dollman was also in a couple of other movies, wasn't he? He was in Dollman versus Demonic Toys too.
He fought the Demonic Toys. Yes, he did.
Yeah. All right. Here is a trailer. Oh man, my thing is not hooked up. Hold on. Jesus. I forgot because I turned off my iPad while I was gone. And then now it's not hooked up anymore because things. All right, we should be good to go now. And now that I said that, it's not gonna work.
On the planet Arcturus, he's the toughest cop around.
That's a Kruger blaster, most powerful hack in the universe.
That's right, fat boy.
What do you want, asshole?
Nothing.
You're just gonna walk away?
On the planet Earth, he's 13 inches tall.
Sometimes.
Oh, fuck!
That's about the size of it.
Can we keep it?
Homies together. I'm going to war. With who? The fucking Dollman. Who else?
Are you in the wrong neighborhood?
Urban fucking renewal.
Dollman, 13 inches with an attitude.
Okay. That ends pretty abruptly. Dollman, 1991.
Hey,
Tim
we're going to
Thomerson.
trick you into watching this movie with RoboCop's theme.
Tim Thomerson is Rick Bardo. Jackie Earl Haley is also there. Humberto Ortiz, Nick Guest, Judd Omen. Bunch of actors that if you've ever watched a Full Moon feature, you're like, oh, okay, these guys, I know these guys.
That would have been awesome if you stopped at bunch of actors.
Bunch of actors.
That's it.
Bunch
Just
bunch of people featured
Yep.
in the film. The story for Dollman is fairly simple. Tim Thomerson is this policeman from a planet called Arcturus. He's the no-nonsense, don't-give-a-fuck police guy because his family was killed by, like, drug dealers or whatever. It's funny because Arcturus essentially is Earth. It's just it's just another planet somewhere else there because they have all of the same issues we have, apparently.
Yeah, it's just run through a different filter.
Yeah. And there's a gun that goes pew instead. That's the difference.
Yeah.
So, he's the hard-nosed cop that gets results no matter what. And we got to get rid of him, and so they suspend him. But then, I don't know, a floating head of some sort kidnaps him.
Yep.
Hey,
I think that's the brother of Overdog from was it Metal Storm? Maybe no, whatever.
Maybe. Could be. Could be. Oh man, this movie's so stupid.
It really is. It really is.
So
This is the thing that I was okay with it until the ground shook and the camera just went like this.
Yep.
That was it. It just shook a little bit, like straight up and down, and I'm like, really? That's a post effect. It's like, come on, like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah,
I'm fine with this guy Pune, right? He directed it.
Yeah, Albert Pune directed it. Who directed Cyborg, Sword and the Sorcerer,
Yeah.
Radioactive Dreams that we covered on the show.
Yep. I am all for watching people progress as filmmakers and stuff, but it doesn't seem like he ever learned anything new. I guess
It's interesting for him because he started like higher up. Like he did Cyborg, which was like one of, if not Jean-Claude Van Damme's like early, like really big hits that brought him to the mainstream.
True.
And then he did Kickboxer 2. And then a few other films, and then he started doing like Dollman and Nemesis and Arcade.
Yeah,
and like,
but if you look at the technique used in Cyborg, it's a very two-dimensional, flat. There's no flair to it or anything. There's nothing that makes it. There's no imagination.
No, there's none whatsoever.
In
It's such
the
a
way
small
it's
world.
filmed.
Such
Yeah.
a small world for what they're what they're trying to do. So essentially, he's a this like hotshot cop that doesn't play by the rules. He's got this gun that like basically is like a laser blaster type revolver that like blows dudes' arms off and shit. So like his nemesis is this floating head. Skaresh was his name, right?
Sure. I didn't care to remember, honestly.
Was it Skaresh or was that one of the other guys?
I'll look it up
Sprug?
while you talk.
Sprug?
I don't know.
Hector? Jackson?
It could have been
Captain
Hector
Stolfer?
for all I know.
I think it was Skaresh. But so, like, he was a bad dude that Thomerson's character, like, blew off his entire body, and they still managed to, like, save him. Just his head is attached to, like, what is akin to, like, an FPV drone.
Yeah.
And, like, no, he's breathing and he's speaking and like, all of these things, but, like, he doesn't have a body. It's just a head.
Yeah.
So I don't know how he's breathing. Or
Right.
like, there's no blood. Or any of these questions that I have, they're not going to be answered. But like, he's on top of this drone, just floating around, and the effects are so like, it's like they're kind of funny because it's so bad. So when they shoot him speaking, they shoot him from just the like drone piece up.
Yeah.
Because obviously he's standing, and they've got like the drone thing built around his neck. But then when they show pictures of or shots of him from further away, they have like a wax mannequin head placed on top of it, with its eyes closed and like its mouth closed, and just like on top of it. But yet we hear him talking, and see him talking, but just whenever there's a shot that's not his face
Mm-hmm.
from further back, it's this just mannequin head dropped on top of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Sprug. It was
Sprug,
Sprug.
okay. By Frank Colson. Why do I know that name? Oh, he's in Silicon Valley.
Oh.
And
Well,
he's like
here's the interesting
23.
thing about it. At least this had an interesting looking bad guy.
I'll give you that. Yeah, Jackie Earle Haley.
Oh shit, he played a part in Oh, okay. He was in Always Sunny, but the new season I see. I'm going to have to go back and see if I can see his face. Cuz he
Fair.
definitely looks different.
Anyway, so FPV drone guy is like, yeah, you thought you killed me, Tim Thomerson, but you didn't. They put
Right.
me back together. And Tim Thomerson's like, you don't really look like you're put back together.
Yeah, he tries to have one-liners and comebacks, but his delivery is so fucking bored.
Yeah, do we love Tim Thomerson or do we hate Tim Thomerson?
I feel the way about Tim Thomerson the way he felt about acting in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, because obviously he's the star of the Trancers series, which Joe has been so graciously making his way through. But like he's really probably best known. I mean, I guess he's best known for Trancers, and he was in Near Dark. But like I feel he's one of those character actors that every time I see him in something, I'm just kind of like, yeah, you're not nearly as enjoyable as I think you are.
Yeah, I think it definitely varies on his interest in the film.
In the project.
Yeah.
So he's got like a magnet in his hand that allows his gun to come flying back to him. So the bad guy like tried to take his gun because he's the bad guy. He's got minions there, and then he gets the gun back and he shoots one of the bad guys, and then he shoots the other bad guy. And then I don't know, the floating head flies away and gets into a spaceship, and then Tim Thomerson somehow gets into a spaceship, and then he's chasing the bad guy, who also has some sort of like thermonuclear detonator or something. And they're flying, and they fly through a portal, I guess?
Yeah,
Is
sure.
that what it was?
What they did was they made it so that it seemed like a once in a billion chance this kind of thing would work. And for ripping open portals into other dimensions and stuff, I'm okay for that. Make it as difficult as possible, because obviously we're watching the movie because you did this, but it can't be something that everybody can do. So that's fine, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, no. no. Sorry. So yeah, they go through this like portal which brings them to Earth. And now they're tiny. But they're not tiny. They're the same size. They just everything on Earth is just 6 times bigger on the average, is what the computer says. So like that's the whole crux of the thing, is that like he's this little guy, but he's still got all the same badass tendencies. And Dollman is gonna fuck you up regardless.
Yeah. There you go. And then it's just a serious episode of Sledgehammer, with a cop with no sense of humor.
Yeah, black hole of charisma.
Yeah.
Everybody in this movie.
Oh,
Except for,
everybody.
you know what? Jackie Earle Haley gives it his best, man. I'll give that guy his.
Yeah, he knew. He knew. I'm better than this, but I got to start somewhere.
Yeah, so he plays Braxton, who's the head of one of the gangs that are moving drugs or whatever. Because it's the 80s, that's all everything is. So they crash land in New York, in the Bronx somewhere. It looks like, and like basically this entire movie is just filmed in like the rubble of a building that was knocked down. It was like,
but in California, right? So
right in California, that's supposed to be the Bronx.
Yeah.
They leveled the building at some point somewhere with like a wrecking ball, and like some of the little pieces of the building are still up, or like, so like Charles Band was like, hey, here's $150. Can we use this for like 3 or 4 days?
Give me 3 days.
Because virtually everything takes place in this like broken down building area.
Yeah.
He meets Debbie, who's a single mom, or was she the older sister? Was that little kid her son?
Shit, I didn't even pay enough attention to that to remember it. I didn't commit that to
obviously
memory.
neither did I.
Doesn't
We'll
matter.
say-
There's a kid.
I don't know. There's a kid, and basically, when Dollman and FPV crash in this knockdown building, these drug dealers are coming after Debbie because there's a scene earlier when Debbie tries to chase the drug dealers out of gives them the I don't want you selling drugs in my neighborhood, and I'm like, your neighborhood is just a broken down like lot with some
Yeah.
bricks and stuff in it. Like this,
Yeah.
there's no neighborhood here. What are you talking about?
Right. And the guy looked
There's
at
no
her
one to sell.
anyway and said, "But Debbie, I sell drugs to the neighborhood."
I sell drugs in the community. I haven't watched that in a while. I gotta. Remember they were gonna make that Western. They were gonna make a Black Diamond.
Yeah, what
Western.
happened with that?
It just never happened.
They filmed a lot.
They filmed a sizzle reel. I know. I mean, but I don't.
Yeah. That would have taken a lot of money to do because that's a lot of different sets and
not,
stuff.
Not necessarily. Not if the not if you know the right people.
I guess time then, right? It'd take time.
Yeah, it's probably and Michael Jai
Yeah.
White's career kind of like got real busy around that. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm not saying that Michael Jai White's career doesn't matter because it absolutely does, but not in the context of what we're talking about. So Dollman sees these guys harassing Debbie, and he gets out of his spaceship. We get the first taste of the special effects used to make him look little compared to everybody else.
Mm.
As expected, it looks poorly.
Oh, yeah.
They do a couple of forced perspective shots that just don't work. But mostly just the camera looking down on him is what they do use. And I think that's what frustrated me the most is they're like, he's only supposed to be like a foot tall.
Mm.
And I was like, well, you're doing a really poor job of showing that to me because you're not even like, you didn't even make sets that had like giant boulders or
Yeah. That's true.
anything like not even an extra large fork
A fork.
or like a spoon.
I mean,
for
what
him to,
year
like,
was
wash
this
his
out?
face.
What year is this from?
This is 91.
So, had Honey, I Shrunk the Kids already been released?
I think so. I feel like that was like 88, maybe.
89. So they could have definitely called up and said, "Hey, can I get one of them Cheerios you had or something?"
We'll bring it back, I promise.
Yeah, maybe that ant. Can I have the head of that ant that you guys were using?
No, none of those gags of like the only time is there's a part where towards the end he's crawling through what's supposed to be like a pipe and a rat comes into the pipe. And then he has like a conversation with the rat of like, "Hey, you don't want to come in here." And the rat's like, "Hmm?" And then he's like, "Hey, I got this gun." And then the rat's like, "Oh, I don't want any trouble."
Yeah, I mean, the only other time we've seen that work is, "Hey, donkey, how you doing?" You're a donkey.
So-
I produce Entourage.
So eventually the flying FPV head is able to hook up with Jackie Earl Haley's character. And he's like, "Hey, listen, I want to get back to my time. So I've got this bomb. I'll give you this bomb if you help me take care of this guy Bardo, and then also help me get back to my home." And Jackie Earl Haley, being the criminal that he is in everything that he does, is like, "Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll help you out." Everyone seems to take like what happens in this movie just like super matter of factly.
Yeah.
When Dollman saves the girl, like she just like picks up his spaceship and like puts it under her arm and is like, "All right, we gotta go."
Yeah, like I don't understand why the bad guys didn't just grab Tiny Floaty Head and just chuck the head and keep the machine and be like, "We could do something with this."
Well, spoiler alert, like they end up killing him.
Well, I mean, he has to die, obviously. Yeah.
But what I thought was funny is he's like the arch enemy of Dollman, and he just gets squashed by Jackie Earl Haley.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of super easy to do that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And for some reason, Dollman's gun is still very effective against guys that are like 5 feet taller, like
Yeah.
5 feet taller than him.
Yeah. I mean, the way the gun works, it should have liquidated the normal sized people to him
Right.
and like been a bullet hole to large people.
yeah.
But fuck consistency. I just got to make another movie to fulfill my contract.
I mean, part of me still kind of likes what's going on here. Like, it's bad. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I mean, it's full moon, so you know what you're getting into with it.
Yeah.
My biggest
Or
issues-
shame on you for not knowing.
Right. And my biggest issues come from the fact that, like, I don't know what's exactly, like, happening half the time because they're so inconsistent with what his size should be.
Yeah.
Like, 1 second it seems like he's like the size of an ant, and then the next second he's like the size of like a little person or something. You know what I mean? Like, so
yeah.
it's just bizarre. I don't know. It's just bizarre, man. It's just weird.
Yeah, it's lazy is what it is. It's just laziness. I mean, you didn't see that shit in Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah, I mean, $1 billion later.
They weren't allowed to be lazy. But I mean, like, yes.
Do you want to finish your statement, or you want to institute it into your grading
I'll
process?
do the whole thing here. I just need to call it up again, just to make sure. So Dollman obviously it was released direct to video, so like you know what you're getting into there, right? I mean, how can you not? So nope, that's the wrong thing. I want to look up what's his face here, the original story by Charles Band, and I want to see this guy produces so many goddamn movies.
So true.
Oh my God, finding it on this list would be. What year was this again?
1991.
Okay, so, oh my God, he took a vacation. He only produced 5 movies in 91.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, then.
Huh.
We picked the right year.
So, but that, I mean, oh my God. So many. I'm just sorry.
All right. It's all right.
If you know who Charles Band is, you know exactly what you get. Oh, and also he produced Metal Storm. Basically the same idea. Sorta, not really. But there was another one. It wasn't Metal Storm. This is going to bug the shit out. Tim Thomerson was in Metal Storm.
Was he?
Are you surprised? He was Rhodes.
Am I surprised? No, obviously I'm not surprised.
It's not Metal Storm. It's shit. It's Hunter. It's something Hunter. Not Space Hunter.
I'm not sure where you're going with this. So
Yeah, it is Space Hunter. Adventures in the Forbidden Zone. That's the movie I was thinking of with Underdog. Yeah.
We covered that, right?
I don't know. I watch it once every 3 years, and I'm like, yeah, this is terrible, but I'm going to watch the whole goddamn thing. Because Ernie Hudson is in it.
He is. I'm pretty sure we covered that at some point.
Yeah, I wouldn't surprise me. Michael Ironside, Molly Ringwald, Peter Strauss. So that's what I was thinking of with like the head on a weird cyborg body kind of thing. So as you can tell, I don't want to talk about this movie because it's not good. It's just not good. The lead is bland. There's nothing there. Like he's going for a hard-boiled detective kind of thing, but hard-boiled detectives, you know, they're smart or they're a sucker or something. There's something going on. They can get played. They get, you know how noir works, and gumshoe stuff. But this was just like he was just plodding along the whole time until he gets to, you know, finish the story. It was.
No, I'm sorry. Continue.
As a side note, I started watching The Boys with Nova because Ripley was asleep. And Nova, they're introducing the characters. And Black Noir comes on. And Nova looks at me and he goes, "Are you kidding me? Like what?" This is Black Noir. His name means black. I'm like, you're getting it. Good. That's how I felt with this movie. I felt like turning to somebody and going, "You fucking kidding me?" Okay, fine. This is just a D+. It's just filler. It's a filler movie, isn't it? It's just let's just
Yeah,
make
no, it
something
really is.
because we got money, and I bet Tim Thomerson will be in it.
Yeah. Yeah, he will.
I I can recommend it only if you're aware of what you're getting into, which is a D level movie, not even a B movie. I can see how this could fall into like a cult movie kind of thing, but I don't think it has anything in the story that really would cause you to want to come back.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you on almost all of those points. I think, like, it's funny because the idea, based on one from Charles Band, like, could make an enjoyable flick. Like, the problem is, this is a movie about a hard-nosed, as you said, noir-style detective.
That's how it felt. I don't know if that's what they intended.
That's how it came across.
Yeah.
Who was, brought to another world. He's only 13 inches tall.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie's not played for laughs.
No.
That's the thing. I think that's where this movie's biggest issue comes from. Where, like, if you had fun with this and had, like, played it up and, like, tongue firmly in cheek, I think it would have been far more enjoyable.
Yeah. Well, it's also on IMDb as a action. Hold on. I got to get rid of this thing. Sci-fi comedy.
Yeah,
so at what point did he ride into battle on the back of a calico cat? Because that would have been funny.
Anything would have been funny. So I think that's where this film's biggest failure is that it was the wrong tone for a silly story.
Yeah.
But they played off the New York is, under siege by gangs, and Jackie Earle Haley plays an angry, mean leader of a gang. And the fact that he's fighting a 13-inch tall interdimensional cop and nobody's making a joke is just wrong.
Yeah.
It's just wrong.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to grade it quite as low as you did. I'm going to go with a C- because, like you said, if you go into it with the right frame of mind, you can watch it and kind of get some kicks out of it, but not too many.
Here's a joke that you could put in it. Somebody could have yelled, Mattel Combat, and that would have been funny because they're like dolls. Get it? Like Barbies. And it's like Mortal Kombat. That's funnier than anything in that movie, and I know that's a terrible joke.
Are you done?
Just say yeah and move on.
Moving on to 1 year into Charles Band's producer credits here. We're going to go to 1992. Bad Channels. Here's a trailer for that guy.
The entire town of Pahuta is tuned to Superstation 66.
Please, this stuff's killing me.
That was funny.
But while dangerous Dan O'Dare is rocking the airwaves, a disc jockey from outer space is about to change the frequency to total terror.
Can you believe this guy? What a maniac.
He's offering a prize to any beautiful woman who's listening.
Hey, whatever they're doing, it's intense.
A one-way trip to another galaxy.
It really sucks! Aliens are using my voice to aim their machinery.
Oh my God.
Turn off your radios, people. They're doing it again.
Bad Channel. In space, no one is safe from rock and roll.
Oh, no one in space safe from what happens? No one in space is safe from rock and roll. All
Sure.
right. Bad
Yep.
Channels, 1992, guys. All right. This one is more in line with what I was thinking the last movie was going to be like. again, another full moon feature, directed by Ted Niccolo, written by Charles Band, based on his original idea. Again, I might add. So Ted also was
very original idea.
Ted was also is also known for Subspecies, TerraVision, Vampire Journals, and a
Oh,
number
really?
of
TerraVision? You don't say.
Yep. TerraVision. I want to say he also did like a bunch of the Puppet Master movies. Yeah, he did Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys, The Horrible Dr. Bones, The St. Francisville Experiment, Dragon World, Spellbreaker, Secret of the Leprechauns.
What?
Bloodlust, Subspecies 3, Subspecies 2, Bloodstone.
That one I've never seen, I don't think.
He did Savage Island. Oh, he directed The Dungeon Master.
Oh.
Starring Night Court's Richard Mole.
Okay.
Starring Robert Factor, Martha Quinn, Aaron Lustig.
Music library. You can ask me to play a radio station or ask for your music on a different app.
My watch does that every now and then. It's like, I wasn't fucking talking to you, bitch.
So weird. Paul Hipp is Dan O'Dare. This film it's got a pretty simple story. You have shock rocky radio DJ guys doing a 24-hour marathon on his new station. And the but the like idea behind the fact that he's moved over to this new station after getting himself in trouble for having sex on the air. He's taking over this new station that used to be all polka music, and it's now going to be rock and roll. And he change himself up and makes himself keep listening to the same polka record until someone gets the combination to undo the chains. Martha Quinn works for the TV station. She's there to interview him.
This is what used to happen, kids. The radio stations were a big thing, and people actually gave a shit about this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Oh my God!
Yeah.
I remember when the radio was everything.
Yep.
So Dan O'Dare's playing some rock and roll, and then some aliens show up. They use the sound waves to collect beautiful women.
Sure. Sure.
Martha Quinn sees the UFO. I'm going all over the place with this one, guys.
Doesn't matter.
No one believes her.
Right. It's all a big joke for like 3/4 of the movie.
It really is. And even at the end of it, I still feel like some people didn't believe that it actually happened.
Yeah.
But what is so amazing about this movie is that at 3 different points it breaks into music videos. And 3 different bands have music videos that are part of the movie where they show up and start playing in these different spots, and they use that to subdue the woman and then magically move her to a tiny bottle.
Yeah.
But it's so over the top, and only the woman can see the band playing, so they keep cutting to the nurse is in the operating room gyrating around, and they're trying to operate on this guy, and they're just looking at her.
Yeah.
And then they cut back to her rocking out with the band.
Yeah.
And my favorite band of all time is in this movie, Psychotic Symphony.
Yeah. Hey, they paved the way for Max Sabbath, so back off.
They were bizarre, man. They were bizarre.
They were, but you know what? They had a gimmick and they went all in. I got to give them that. They knew. They're like, this is our one fucking chance. Too bad it's in this movie.
That song. Yeah, hang on, let me play this part.
Yeah.
Turn it off now before it's too late!
Hi, kids. It's the Captain Happy Show starring me, Captain Happy. Let me get out my magic mirror. I see Bobby. I see Susie. I see Billy.
I have to take a phone call. So you need to talk, Chris.
Oh, okay. We're not going to pause. All right. I'll just keep going with this. I don't understand this movie at all. None of this makes sense. This is what we get, though. We get this. Just take a listen. So I thought, Mr. Bungle's in this movie because that definitely sounds like the first Mr. Bungle major release, but it's not. Don't be fooled. It's definitely not. I'm gonna tell Bill when he's off the phone that this is definitely the only reason I kept watching this movie is because of the VJ Martha Quinn was in it, and I like her. I think she's fun. I don't know. She's cute. It's fun to watch. And she really does try her best in this. And she's not given much to go with because, I mean, what really ends up happening is that everybody around her is playing everything differently than she is. I think she gets the joke. And I don't think anybody else does.
All right, I'm back. Sorry.
So I was saying that my favorite part of the whole movie is Martha Quinn, and I think she understood the assignment better than some of the other actors because she plays her part of the sky is falling, but she plays it well, and she knows there's a little bit of tongue in cheek going on there, but it seems like everybody around her just is around her to be a fucking dick.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. It's not good.
No,
but there's some parts in here that like really work. Like the Martha Quinn stuff is good. I actually like the guy a lot that was the DJ too. I thought he did a pretty good job. He was all in.
Yes.
I like the musical interludes.
You did.
I did. But like, I mean, they're bad. Don't get me wrong. Like,
okay.
It's not. I'm not like, oh, I'm really into the songs.
Okay.
Here.
In context of the movie, you like how they were worked in. I got you. Okay.
I mean, overall, I actually enjoyed this. A decent amount. But I think where it fails a little bit is that like they have this invading alien with a robot, and they put literally no work into the alien. So.
Oh yeah, he's just like string latex and spray foam with a green window to see out of.
Yeah. It's bad. It's real bad. It's real bad.
It is, but he doesn't talk though, does he?
Nope. He just wears that giant rock, that foam rock on his head the whole
time.
Yeah.
So, all right. At least they made a monster. Full monster.
The robot reminded me of I can't think of the name. I can see the robot, but I can't remember its name.
Is it that shitty one they made up for Star Tours?
Kind of. Yeah, actually, maybe it is.
Yeah.
I think it might be. Yeah, I think it might be, actually.
All right. Yeah, I could see that.
So, but I mean, if you're comparing this to Dollman, like this
first, why? I mean, really, why? Only because you watched them in a row.
About it. Yeah, this is a far better film and a far more fun film, and it does have that tongue-in-cheek feel to it.
Yeah, yeah,
like,
because more people got the assignment.
Right, exactly, and it's not played for like slapsticky laughs or anything like that. But it's definitely like it knows what it's doing, and it's not trying to do anything else.
Right.
You know, like everybody, like when they deliver a line, they're delivering it like their life depends on it.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
The guy, like when they're outside the we keep talking about the green fungus that like seals everything off and stuff. So there's a point where they're outside the radio station and they're trying to get in, and there's a guy with a blowtorch, and the cop comes over and he goes, "Hey, how are we doing with getting in there?" And he goes, "I don't know, sir. It replaces itself as fast as I'm burning it off."
Yeah, he gave it everything he had. Good for him.
He did, and he wasn't the only one. Even Martha Quinn too. She was like,
"Yeah."
She was like, I saw that UFO, and I did.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I'm sorry. I've got all these messages coming in because they just canceled our baseball game for tonight. So I'm like trying to do like 10 different things at once. Apologies.
Gotcha.
All right. Let's.
So. Yeah. So we can get to Joe and Scott. And you can answer your all your texts. I am going to recommend this, but it also gets a D+. No, you know what? A C-. It gets a C-.
Okay.
Because it's bad, but it's that it's the right kind of bad where if you watch it, you're like, yeah, that was awful, but I don't hate anybody because of it. Here's a question, though. Here's one question, but and this is all I'm going to say about it for the rest of time. If there is a stinger on the end with Dollman going to meet the one woman that was left over being tiny, I would assume then that they can use the technology to make Dollman big, and then he can be Giant Man solving crimes.
I mean, you would think so.
Yeah. Yeah, but good for them. At least the connection between Dollman and this is a logical in-universe connection. So good for you, I guess. Your turn.
I mean, them trying to build a little bit of a world here, I appreciate that. I actually liked this for the most part. Like, it's not the type of film that, like, we're going to, like, remember or anything like that down the road. But it's got a couple of fun parts to it. It's got a couple, this is the type of trash I can watch. Like, I can watch this. Like, I'm not going to search it out or anything, but, like, if you're looking for something to watch that's kind of, like, hokey and cheesy, like, there's a lot worse movies you can watch. A lot worse ones you can watch. It's fun. Martha Quinn is great. The guy that does the DJ is good.
Yeah.
The alien looks silly, but, like, it's not like you said, you're not going to hate anybody over it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I'm sure there's more I could say about this, but I mean, just check it out on Tubi.
Or any number of the other Full Moon places.
Didn't Full Moon try to do their own streaming service and then was like, fuck it, it's easier to just put it on everybody else's?
I think what ended up happening was, I want to say that they sold it or something, I think, to like Tubi or somebody.
Oh. Okay.
If I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
I'm gonna log into my Facebook too so I can play Joe's message. He keeps telling me incorrect password. What the hell is my password?
Is your password incorrect password?
No.
Because then that would make sense.
It'd be awesome if it was. It'd be like super smart. What? I've had more issues with Facebook lately. Joe, I need you to stop sending me the segments on Facebook Messenger every week.
Is it just, it's too difficult to get it all working?
Well, yeah, because, like, everything is like, oh, you need to two-factor and do that, and let's see here, this one. And the reason, like, I save all my passwords and I do Face ID for everything, and then it doesn't fucking work.
Did you get a new device?
I don't even know.
Okay. You don't? Okay.
I don't know. Incorrect password. Now what's going to happen is I'm going to be locked out of it by the time I actually figure out what it is.
Yep. So call him up and have him just do it live.
Forgot password. outsidethecinema@gmail.com. Continue. Send code via email. Hang on, everyone. Everything always has to fucking happen all at once.
Yes. Should I just sit here quiet the whole time?
No. Have you watched anything interesting lately that we can talk about? Now I'm not even getting the email for it.
Let me look. Let me see. Because I had. Oh, you know what? I went back and I'm almost done with season 2 of the Orville because season 3 is going to. At least the first episode will be up tomorrow, and I really like that. I really like that show. It manages to tackle subjects in a way that is relatable, but also done in a very good storytelling way, like interpersonal relationship type stuff, and how obviously different cultures on Earth would be represented by different races. Not like hard and fast, but like, oh, this is what your culture believes, so it has to do with this on this show, that kind of thing. Social messages like Star Trek wanted. The rumor I heard is that Seth MacFarlane wanted to do a Star Trek series, and they said no, and he pulled a Bender and said, "Fine, I'm going to go make my own Star Trek with hookers and
Well,
below."
I want to say he actually wrote a pilot and a pitch for something.
Yeah, and they were like,
if I'm not
nah.
mistaken.
And up until Brave New Worlds, I honestly believe that his was the best Star Trek out there for a while.
Okay.
I mean, I like most Star Trek, to be fair, but some is better than others, isn't it?
Agreed. All right, I think I was able to hook my phone up to the,
Okay.
to the mixer, so let's try that.
Well, hello, Bill. Hello, Chris, and hello, OTC Nation. It's your boy Joe here, and I'm at the end of this dark tunnel because Bill made me watch Trancers 6, the final Trancers film. This is it, my friends. The culmination of a franchise whose rabid fan base kept clamoring for more, more, more. Whose commitment to their verse spawned 6 entries and lasted from 1984 to 2002. A franchise without whom we would never have seen the rise of the incomparable Helen Hunt. A franchise so powerful, Tim Thomerson said no thanks to Part 6, even though I'm sure he could have used the payday. In fact, this year's TransCon will be bigger than ever. We had to move from Greg's mom's basement to the church basement because the Love Shack, as Greg calls it, just wasn't big enough to handle trans.
And then my phone doesn't, when it goes to sleep.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
gone. Wait, what's that? We're being sued by TransCon, the trance music convention? What's that again? Another joke? Trance music is exponentially more popular than trancers, and barely anyone likes trance music anymore? Well, that's fair enough. I'm sure when someone remakes Trancers in the next few years, it will reignite people's... I'm being told from my producer that this has gone on far enough. Well, fair enough. Listen, we live in very uncertain times. Half of the country has become the Reavers from Firefly, just with New Balance sneakers, a favorite NASCAR driver, and shitty attitudes, instead of the skin and bones of their victims sewn into their flesh, but I'm sure that's not too far away. Shit's pretty bleak, and it's times like these that a lot of us turn to movies and or podcasts about movies we love when we need a few hours away from it all. Movies have the power to take us away from shitty reality for a while. We all have our comfort movies. For some, it's like Jack Hill's oeuvre. I personally love Switchblade Sisters. And for some, it's like Spielberg, like E.T. and Indiana Jones. But, you know, when it comes to Spielberg, fuck you, I'll take Duel any day. Regardless, I would bet my beautiful couple of acres of woods in the central Michigan wilderness that nobody nowhere at any time has ever reached for Trancers 6 for that kind of solace. And I haven't even hit play yet. All right, 20 minutes in and I feel I've won my bet. Think I'm lying? Go ahead. Watch Trancers 6. I double dog dare you. To start, they did one of my all-time favorite bad things. Tim Thomerson obviously wanted nothing to do with Trancers 6, but they had archived footage of him from previous films.
Of course.
So when we fade up after the credits, a hodgepodge of Jack Death sound bites from prior Trancers movies has a full-on, barely in context, gee they tried hard conversation with the head of the council. They're sending Jack back to Los Angeles in 2022 to inhabit the body of his daughter, who he didn't even know he had, to fight Trancers. Well, sort of. I say sort of because the first whole third of this movie is Jack in the body of his daughter doing the things his daughter probably would have done anyway. Eating, getting ready for work, suffering the insufferable coworkers, getting fired for researching something her obviously evil Trancer boss doesn't want her looking into, and getting hit on by the super nerdy coworker as she's walking out. Dude is like, sucks you got fired. What are you doing tonight? Now, I'm not saying that that's an out-of-the-ordinary thing. I'm mostly saying if you're that guy, maybe consider drying your hair in the bath. Like the tag on the dryer is for pussies, and you're not a pussy, are you? And it's all done in sets that were probably redressed and reused just a few years later for the first Evil Bong film.
Ugh.
It's like they rented a small block of storage units and barely dressed them as an office. Oh, here's another fantastic thing happening. Jack goes to his daughter's scientist friend. Mind you, they don't tell us that they don't tell us that Jack knows that she's friends with this paranoid scientist dude. It's like he just knows. He just knows where she's going to go. And this guy is wearing a lab coat even though he works at that big-ass space telescope thing just north of LA. But when she walks in, he's got a bunch of beakers and tubes and Tesla coils and shit. But like he works in a telescope. Like, I get it. I multitask too sometimes, but this still like stands out like a Ford F-150 at a Lamborghini convention. Trancer 6 is a massive downgrade from the previous films in every conceivable way. He said, shocking neither show hosts nor anyone listening. The cheapness with which this was made makes those early AIP straight-to-video action films look like Terminator 2 by comparison. Here's the whole plot. Trancers are going full-on Charles Manson. The leaders just kind of randomly send out minions to kill wealthy people in Los Angeles. I mean, a couple times. Using desperate, lonely, drug-addicted people to do their bidding. Yeah, that's basically it. That's really all there is to this movie. It's a whole lot of nothing. This movie is guilty of something that I occasionally am, and that is trying to wring too much out of something. If Trancers 6 made any point at all, it's that Trancers 5 was plenty. Here's the thing. The good. I guess there were some moments that were like so bad it's good. Like one of the watch a movie and make jokes people could have some fun here, I guess. The bad. AIP, on their worst day, was not as poorly acted, as hammily written, and as edited by someone with worse ADHD than me. Trancer 6 is going to get a D+. The Trancers series is going to get a C-. And, Jesus, Bill. What's next?
You're going to start from Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh.
So, should start strong and then get real bad.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard the man. I'll be back with that next week. Hopefully it doesn't suck. Until then, be good, everyone.
I've been kind of obsessed lately with like series that like have like a really strong like big budget start and then just kind of disappear into like because there's I think 3 or 4 from Dusk Till Dawn flicks
and a series.
He doesn't need to do the TV series if he doesn't want to. I heard the TV series was actually quite good though.
Do you know why?
Why?
Because Tarantino's not playing Seth or whatever his name was. He's not an actor. He's not an actor. He draws me right out of it every time.
Oh, sure. Now I get my code to log into Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, why? Why would it be? When you need it.
I know, right? Keep me logged in. Password. Oh, now I gotta create. Let me finish this with you guys first. All right. Now I gotta find I gotta find Scott's thing here now.
There's a lot going on, people. He was away.
Well, that's the thing is like you go away and you like you never turn your stuff off, but then you're gone for a couple days. You turn it off because you don't want to just let the battery just sit there.
Yeah.
And then you come back and everything is like logged out and shit.
I don't get that,
All
but
right,
yeah, I've been there.
Happy Monday. What a great day, because it's the day I get a new show.
We know. We've heard this joke
Wait a
before.
minute. Where's the show?
So we are pushed to recording next week's show until Wednesday. So Patreon, you will get it on probably Wednesday evening, and then it'll go live out to everybody else on Thursday morning like it normally does. But just wanted to give you guys a heads up, specifically Scott, because he'll be like, where's the show?
Oh, yeah, it was like that.
We've heard the joke before.
Rule of 3, and then the rule of 12.
He still also sent me a text message making sure that we were recording on Wednesday.
What?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. With Reverend Scott. A little Arnold Palmer right there. That's good stuff.
This is Reverend Scott. Hey there, Bill and Chris.
That's hilarious. He said the exact same thing he always says, but different.
And I'm going to give you that fresh holy shit as only I can give it to you.
You can if that's the only option you have. But you shouldn't.
If only you had other options. But all you have is me, and I watched something some are calling terrible, or at least controversial. But is it really? And was it any good? Well, hold your breath until you get to find out. But let's first review your reviews of Apartment 143 and The Batwoman.
I guess. All right, that's fine.
So what are we starting with, Bill?
Apartment 143.
Okay, and continuing with my laziness, Chris, tell us the plot of Apartment 143.
It was just boring. Oh, a picture's different. Boring. Something moved. Boring. Daughter's yelling. Oh, gives a shit.
Which makes it sound like Chris didn't like this movie. And that's because Chris didn't like this movie. But to be fair, Bill only liked it in comparison to recent trash.
It was fine. And I'm probably only saying that because the last couple we've done have been real bad.
Chris especially hated the quality of the picture, which reminded him of a royal family tree that only has one branch.
That's like making a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy, and then you make me review it for the show.
One of Chris's biggest gripes was that the writers of this movie didn't seem to know how to bullshit technical jargon, or that a poltergeist is really a ghost.
Dan Aykroyd can write sci-fi fantasy techno jumbo like nobody's fucking business. And that's what they tried to do here. But what they didn't have is apparently the basic knowledge of the fundamentals of, the mythologies of ghosts.
Or Google, I guess. So I give Apartment 143 a D+, and I give the review a B-. But what about the other film you reviewed? What was it, Bill?
We'll move on to 1968's The Batwoman, or La Muerte Murcielago. That was real bad.
That was real bad.
Yikes. Anyway, I've never heard of this movie before.
Yeah, there's a good reason for that.
Okay.
But a female luchador made to look like Batwoman? I'm on board for that already. Add in the fact that
he's had all of his penile juices removed.
Yes.
Wait, no, that sounds awful. Which is good.
Yep, I get it.
But there's not much more to say about this one that you haven't already said. So I give it an A. And I give the review an A. But does what I watched get an A?
Does it happen? Who knows?
Maybe.
Well, I watched a new stand-up comedy special called Supernature by Ricky Gervais on your boy Netflix. And I'll start by saying, yes, I realize that Ricky says things on purpose to provoke people. His attitude towards negative comments is generally,
fuck you. Come here and say that to my face.
I will.
He makes it a point to get into jokes about the transgender community within 5 minutes of his set. That part of the show has been called transphobic, while others say it's making fun of those that are transphobic. And while my gut feeling is that Ricky is not actually transphobic, I think he knows exactly what the reaction to those jokes will be and goes out of his way to include them to get it. He mentions several times in his act that he's a rich multimillionaire and very much is not bothered by the opinion of strangers, or aka us poor people. I'm guessing after the show he walked off the stage thinking,
I didn't give a shit about any of these people.
And that's fine for him, but did I give a shit about his act?
I don't know.
I'll first say that his TV shows like Afterlife, Derek, and The Office, they're great. His combination of dark comedy with emotional real-life situations is incredibly effective. Rarely does a show impact me like Derek and Afterlife did. But when it comes to his stand-up, there was no emotional impact. There was basically only jokes. Jokes that oftentimes were very similar to ones that I'd heard before, or just typical low-hanging fruit. Basically, any comedian can do offensive content or controversial topics and jokes. It's not hard to push buttons on purpose.
How fucking tough is that?
Not tough.
Jesus Christ.
Not tough at all.
But you really have to be good to be funny while doing it. The special called Thoughts and Prayers by Anthony Jeselnik is a good example of one of those that works for me. Supernature by Ricky Gervais, on the other hand, is an example of one that does not. I'm not a category of person that should be judging if he's transphobic, homophobic, or any other type of phobic or degenerate, but one thing I do know is what makes me laugh, and his jokes were not one of those things. I give his special a C-, and I recommend you watch one of his shows on Netflix instead of this. I also recommend you tune in to Outside the Cinema next week when Bill and Chris review a David Lynch movie.
It's better than nothing, but it doesn't make a lick of sense.
After that, Chris delicately explains why he doesn't like my offensive comedy.
Well, it's because you were a fucking dick your whole life. And now when you're alone, no one wants to talk to you because you're a miserable puss.
And finally, Bill gives some constructive criticism of Chris's own offensive stand-up comedy.
Once you use that word, you can't take it back.
Right.
All that and so many other words we used and we can't take it back. But until then, peace and love, guys. Holy shit with Reverend Scott.
Jesus fucking Christ, what a waste of time.
Wow, okay.
That's good stuff.
All right, well, that's it for us this week.
Yeah.
I now have to dig through all the text messages and calls that I just had come through, so that's cool. Join the Facebook group, or don't.
Yeah.
Follow us on social media at OTC Bill and Acrothulu, or don't.
Yep.
And enjoy your week.
Or don't.
Or don't. We'll be back next week. Or we won't.
I probably won't.
Goodbye.
All right, bye. I'm going to go die. Oh, shit.